Intimidation has a way of stunting you, both professionally and in terms of personal growth. If you feel intimidated by someone, whether it's a coworker, your mother-in-law, or a friend of a friend, understand that your fear gives them power over you and allows them to dictate your thoughts, emotions, and actions. For example, maybe you change your behavior in subtle ways to please them. The good news is, it's not something you have to suffer by default. Today, I'm going to be answering a question I received from @nanidiction via Instagram on how you can put an end to feeling intimidated starting today. And you don't need to sacrifice your pride or decorum to do it with these 7 steps. The first step will be to identify the source of your intimidation. Ask yourself, why are you intimidated? What is it about this person that induces fear? Is it their overall demeanor, personality, approach, tone, title, education level, financial status, viewpoint, or something else? Then consider if there is a pattern in the type of people who intimidate you. Are there any similarities among them? When I think back, I can definitely spot a pattern to the type of people I felt intimidated by. Any person with some perceived power, such as confidence, assertiveness, and popularity. Their ability to effortlessly be who they were, speak their truth, and command the crowd only punctuated the fact that I struggled to do so myself. Which leads me to my next point. Challenge the story you're telling yourself. What are you personally struggling with that might be impacting your experience with this person? Is there any underlying fear or limiting belief about yourself that's actually at play? This might be the false beliefs that you have, such as you thinking that no one cares about what you have to say. What stories are you telling yourself about this person? What assumptions are you making about them and your relationship? Is there any truth to these stories? We can change our behavior and our life simply by challenging the stories we tell ourselves and start to tell ourselves new stories. In my case, my new story became that I was just as worthy of attention, love, and respect as anyone else, even those who were louder than me. The third step, mentally prepare yourself well ahead of time for interacting with the person who intimidates you. Intimidation is essentially just the feeling that somebody's able to outdo us. Much of handling intimidating people thus lies in stopping that comparison or in reassuring ourselves we've got plenty of points to fight with. Remind yourself there's really no such thing as equal footing, just different footing. You and the intimidating person cannot possibly have the exact same skills, personality, background, goals, or biology. You thus cannot make an accurate apples-to-apples assessment of who is best. Tell yourself that for all the other person's accomplishments or abilities, they are human. Everyone makes mistakes. It's just that you might not be aware of all of theirs. Review your accomplishments or positive qualities to confirm your abilities and write to personal confidence. Fourth step, plan out what you want to say. The feeling of intimidation can make you mentally choke, leaving you at a loss for words that makes you feel even worse. You don't have to come up with a script you'll repeat word for word, especially because you have to respond naturally to whatever the other person says back. But you can identify the main points you want to bring up and practice saying those in a few different ways. Fifth step, tap into your inner assertiveness. In his book, The Big Leap, Gay Hendricks describes the zone of genius as the place where your greatest passion and your innate gifts meet. Your zone isn't just about what you're decent, good, or even excellent at. Your zone is where you really thrive and shine. What's your zone of genius? What unique power and talents do you bring to the table? Focus on those strengths rather than fixating on your perceived weaknesses and tap into your inner rock star. The next time you're asked to do something you don't want to do, pause and exercise your right to say no, instead of leaning on an automatic yes. It won't be easy, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with sharing your thoughts and insights. Sixth step, use comic visualization. Picture the intimidating person dancing in a tutu, lounging in their undies with some chips, or belting Adele's greatest hits during their commute. The exact picture really doesn't matter. The idea is simply to use a goofy visualization to tell your brain they don't pose a threat, thereby shutting down the fight or flight stress response. Seventh step, use humor to lighten the mood. When dealing with an intimidating person, you can always break the tension by adding a little humor, if it's appropriate for the situation, of course. Poke fun at yourself. It's a type of humor that can unify a group or those who hold the power, like an authority figure or a corporation. Learning to speak up for yourself can be an uncomfortable yet absolutely life-changing process for an introvert or anyone suffering from low self-esteem. When you use your voice, you gain confidence in yourself and your abilities, and ultimately, you'll reclaim your personal power.